Hello, this is Telltale once again. I'm Greg.
I'm Emily.
This is Emily.
Yeah.
And we're here for another short story of Philip K. Dick. Moving on to January 1953 now. Is this the first one of 1953? I think it is.
I believe so, yes.
It's getting a little blurred because we've already read way ahead in the chronology before we're shooting these videos.
And I'm not going to lie, these next ones have a lot of very similar themes, so if I screw them they all blur together. Not really, but like they're all very different, but there's a lot of very similar themes that it's easy to like lose track of where one story ends and the other begins in my brain.
Yeah, that's both the good and bad thing about Philip K. Dick is that he has these themes that run through all of his work again and again and again. The playing with reality, the paranoia, the threat of technology taking over us, threats from alien civilizations, alternate histories, like in the time travel one we read. Those things will crop up again and again and again as we go through these.
And yet in so many different ways. Like enough of it is different enough where they're all very unique stories.
That's a genius, is he takes these same themes and keeps repeating them, but repeats them in a new way. So it's a very different story.
A different spin,
and better than what he's done before.
Yeah, a different spin on each concept. So
So do you want to do the synopsis?
Yeah, so The Defenders it's been like 8 years. And all of humanity has basically been forced to go underground and live underground in bunkers because they are at war with the Soviets. The United States is at war with the Soviets. The Cold War was not so cold anymore. The world was in chaos because of it, H-bombs and stuff. And so all these humans are seeing on the news and things from upside, which is entirely being run by robots at this point. It's all robotics fighting the war, because it is not safe for humans to be up top. So scientists decided, we're going to just do all robotic warfare. And so they did. And the robots are up there and bringing live feeds and things down to the humans for news to kind of give an overview of what's happening in the war so the humans underground know what's going on. But then our main character ends up getting called in because something suspicious is going on. And they bring down one of the Type A robots, which is like the top of the hierarchy of robots, down to give them a report. And when they bring the robot down, they realize the robot's not hot with radioactivity.
Yeah.
Like they expect it to be, because there has been allegedly an atomic war happening up top. So it isn't safe for humans to be up there. And the robots convince the humans continuously, no, it really isn't safe. Like, you guys should stay down here. It really isn't safe. So they decide to plan a team to go up top and figure out what's going on. And that's kind of where I'm going to stop, unless we decide to do a spoiler alert, because it's just real interesting concept.
Let's go with that. Understand, if you've never read the story, you should either stop here or zoom ahead a ways.
Yeah.
Because we're going to spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a cool concept.
It is a really cool concept. So, spoiler alert. Now, the robots have ended the war already. And nothing has been damaged. They've repaired everything. Like, everything is back to normal up top. But they are afraid to let the humans come back up, because through their assessments, their ultimate goal is to protect the humans underground. And they realize that sometimes the humans need protecting from themselves. And they were afraid if the humans came back up, they would realize there isn't a war anymore with the Soviets, and then try to take advantage of the situation and try to start another one to really obliterate the Soviets.
But the robots figure if they let a certain number of years go by, that then they could bring the human beings back up to a world that has been tended and is ideal again and perfectly livable, and they won't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, they basically will have built a utopia to introduce the humans to, so that they won't want to destroy it again.
And it raises this really interesting concept of if you put beings, artificial or not, if you put beings in charge of something like a war, who are completely rational and logical, why would they continue it? They would see the stupidity of it
Yes.
and they would go, well, this doesn't make sense.
And
We
that's
should
exactly
not
what
keep
happened.
doing it.
They basically ended the war and were like, well, let's rebuild civilization and make it better than it was before. So when we bring the humans up, they'll be fine. And there won't be any need for them to want to go to war. There'll be plenty of land and food and resources and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they literally just logic, like, well, we're stupid. What are we doing? Let's leave the humans down there so they don't mess this up and we'll fix everything. And that's exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's these humans encountering these robots who are hell-bent on making sure that they don't mess up what they started.
Yeah. So this story is a definite twist on the gun, where you land on this planet where everybody has been killed off, and you have these automated weapons continuing to watch for and destroy anything that comes within range.
And I like this concept too because the goal isn't destruction like in that first one. The goal is, it's not, the opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation. And that's essentially like that concept that these robots are going off of. It's like the best thing we can do to guarantee is a peaceful society is to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
We'll take care of the infrastructure, we'll take care of, diplomacy, we'll like slowly reintroduce humans when we're ready. Like the whole plan becomes undone, and like everything down to the last detail too. All of the images they use on the newsreel, the lower robots essentially are sitting there making miniatures. Exact replica miniatures of certain areas and filming them as if it is a war zone. So they have like these tiny studios where painstakingly every day they're making new miniatures to represent these different areas that are supposedly attacked by the Soviets and H-bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like it's a very intricate plan. Like they had the whole thing sorted out. Like they just laid out the blueprint and the humans are now up top again, investigating and fucking up. So it's kind of cool how they try to counteract that.
Isaac Asimov fans will realize that the plot of the robots to fool the humans and end the war basically comes from one of the 3 laws of robotics.
Yes.
To not allow humans to come to harm.
Yes. And taken to an extreme even. And even in the story, they can't harm the humans. Like the humans are holding guns to them and they're holding guns, but they're bluffing. Like the humans know, you can't shoot us. And they're like, no, we can't. Shoot that door instead and make an explosion. Like, but don't let them get hurt. It's very funny. It's almost comedic watching that whole scenario.
Yeah.
That whole conflict play out. Because it becomes like, they want to have a physical altercation to stop the humans, but it becomes a battle of wits in the middle of it. So,
and interesting historical fact, I believe this was the first story that got Philip Dick a cover illustration on the cover of the January 1953 Galaxy science fiction magazine. A very cool Ed Emsch cover illustration showing a couple of the robot warriors next to a spaceship. It's a very good illustration.
Yeah, it is really cool. I read it off a PDF we found online that you actually found for me, and it is a really neat illustration. If we can get a screenshot of that or something.
I will put one in the video. And
boop
of course,
it in there.
My copy of The Defenders is in the book it's a book that's being very well read right now, Paycheck and Other Stories.
Fantastic. But yeah, it is out there. A lot of these are public domain. This one wasn't, I don't think.
Galaxy Magazine, I believe it is.
Okay, yes. This one of the ones that we read at Coming wasn't, or a couple of them weren't.
Yeah, there was one that we've already gone through. Or is it coming up? I can't remember either.
Yeah, we have a few.
It was in the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction, which of course the copyright is being maintained by that magazine. But Galaxy Magazine is a defunct magazine, and so the copyrights are mostly in the public domain, except where authors have gone and purchased them back and kept the rights with their estates. So yeah, there are a lot of early Galaxy magazine stories like this one that have gone into the public domain now.
But of course, it's the internet, so everything's out there.
Yeah,
You can almost find everything. And
some of these stories are, well, like the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction one. That one is still copyrighted, but you can find a PDF of the magazine online for free.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yep.
I think it's legal. I hope it's legal.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to be able to see those.
If it's not, we're not telling you where we found it.
Yeah.
Secrets.
Yeah.
Google it though. Yeah, just Google it. You'll find something. I'm sure.
Google The Defenders by Philip K. Dick. You'll come up with it.
So, but yeah, I liked this one a lot. I thought it was a really interesting concept because we have always a very at least in my generation in sci-fi, there's usually when the robots take over, it's a very dystopian situation where humanity is enslaved. This definitely turned that concept that I was familiar with on its head, so it kind of surprised me. I was expecting this to be another human enslavement or keep them underground kind of thing, but it's
the
really
idea
not.
Where robots are monsters taking us over, trying to kill us, the Terminator type thing. That goes all the way back to the book where the word robot was invented, R.U.R. by Karl Kapek.
Ah, okay.
That was the first usage of the word robot. And, in that one, the robots were slaves and they rebel against their masters.
Yeah. In this one, the robots rebel against their masters in the better hope for their masters, in basically the greater good, which was really interesting and did not take the turn I was expecting it to.
Yeah.
But still surprised me and was still very enjoyable.
It was a great story. I really enjoyed it also.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Top tail or not?
I would say yes. I would put this one in the top tail.
Okay.
Just because I feel like it is so different than what we usually expect. It's not a very there's almost this Luddite feeling that tends to go into science fiction where the technology is evil. And in this one, it is not that. The technology is well-intentioned and admits to it, saying, we know you wouldn't react well to this, but we didn't think of it. There was no other option.
Yeah.
Except to give you a clean slate life when you came back up, and we had to keep you down there longer to build this clean slate life for you.
Yeah. So
it's really, I definitely think it is probably very innovative from what most people would be familiar with robot-based sci-fi, especially with something that we're all very familiar with, this dystopian view.
Yeah, and of course among Philip Dick's work, most of his stories are kind of paranoid and dark. And with these shadow groups that are trying to control everything. And so this having a more positive ending is a little more unique among his work.
Yes. So I definitely would put this on the top tail list just because it is so different.
I will do that.
I like this one.
And that's all I got for this.
Yeah, that's all I got for this one too.
We move on to the next Philip K. Dick story.
More Dick. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Like, subscribe, give us commentary, read along with us. We would love to have you. What's the next one we're going to do?
Piper in the Woods.
Piper in the Woods, which is available public domain. I read it, I believe, off of Project Gutenberg.
Yes.
So definitely go look it up, give it a try, read with us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.